Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy IX. We are heading towards the castle in the cargo ship. Steiner's goals are still at odds with everyone else's, whereas everybody else wants to head towards the neighboring kingdom of Lindblom. So, we are going to hit the deck with Zidane and find Steiner up here. And we're going to have a little chat about all this. Because Steiner is under the impression that the ship took off without Garnet aboard, and that he's going to return to the Kingdom of Alexandria to face Queen Braun empty-handed. There was also the issue last time of finding all of those barrels littered around the town of Dali, and nature of what was inside those. And the fact that we found all of these black mage dolls aboard the cargo ship. There's some kind of dirt going on between Dali and Alexandria, and it involves those black mage dolls. And Vivi is pretty disconcerted by the whole thing. We were also attacked by Black Waltz number 2, another black mage. I think they look especially threatening in the FMVs. And there are so many of the really short FMVs. Oh, this music is whimsical. There's so many of those short FMVs in 9. And that would be Black Waltz number 3. So while Black Waltz number 3 observes us from afar, the black mage dolls are closing in around us. And just as quick as they appear to all be flooding towards the front of the ship, where the Black Waltz has just arrived. And we're gonna have to deal with yet another Black Waltz attack. We've had 3 of these now since the end of the ice cave. And it looks like they are supposed to be under his influence. They're attempting to protect Vivi, it looks like. So those barrels, we know now, are full of black mage dolls, who are supposed to be mindless puppets subservient to the greater will of the Black Waltz. So the whole thing with the eggs and the production facility under the windmill in Dali, and the shipments back and forth between Dali and Alexandria, and what we know about Zorn and Thorn overseeing the Black Waltzes, and their attempts to recapture the princess. This is starting to add up, as are the implications about Vivi. Oh, poor sweet Vivi. We'll talk more about that in a second, just after we finish up with this fight. We don't have Garnet for this fight, so not a lot of healing power coming out, but I'm going to be making a slight adjustment that should make this much easier than the Black Waltz 2 fight. That adjustment is going to be making sure that we don't have to deal with any counterattacks. That's a little quirk of the Black Waltz is that I completely forgot about in that last fight. Waltz number 2 will counter spells with strong AoE fire magic, so I was making that fight a lot harder on myself than it needed to be by triggering his counterattack over and over and over again. Waltz number 3 will only counterattack on melee hits, and he'll do so with really strong AoE thunder magic. So instead of attacking with Zidane, he is just going to be a steel bot, and he will occasionally throw potions out. In the meantime, we are going to double cast Fire with VIII, and that's how VIII will make himself useful in this fight. And of course, Steiner, his sword magic does not count as a physical damage hit, even though it is a melee attack. So this does not trigger the counter state. And since Zidane doesn't actually have anything better to do, I could be stealing from him, but low odds to steal anything worthwhile. I am instead going to make sure I don't take any unnecessary risks and just throw a potion over at Steiner. Just like that, BB's trance is ended. Again, it's a story-related trance. The first time his has actually been able to trigger. Seeing the murder of all these black mage dolls. Huh, that's less damaging than I would expect. Still not going to take any chances. Should be dead pretty soon. Another cast of fire. Oh no, just right there. So every single Final Fantasy has a core theme. Final Fantasy VII's was something like self-identity. Final Fantasy VIII, you could say, is about fate and predestination. The theme of Final Fantasy IX, in a word, is... Oh, what a cute observation by Zidane about the Waltz's names and their naming conventions. Being music related. Wow, that's really clever how he comes to the conclusion that there's probably only 3 of them. In a word, FF9's theme is mortality. VIII, we remember, is very, very young. And he becomes acutely aware of his own mortality. And his whole purpose in existing really early on, and it's terrifying. This is a kid just harboring such powerful existential dread. Because the question remains, how alike is he to the Black Mage dolls that we just saw murdered? The mass-produced dolls. Also, I love for how much they went back to, you know, the fantasy aesthetic. They still get to do just quirky tech things like this. Like mist punk. They get to live mostly in that really common tropey fantasy aesthetic. And then every now and then they get to just, you know, spread their wings. this really does make it seem like we will have control over the airship this early on, but this scene is a big lie. This is all predetermined. I have no control over flying the cargo ship through the overworld here. I think this is just so they didn't have to, you know, render out more FMVs and tack on the cost to what was already, I think, a fairly expensive game. Maybe misremembering on that, though. So when I put all this emphasis on Vivi being, you know, the emotional core of this game, I don't just mean that in that he is this sweet, soft boy that you just grow to love immediately and you want to protect him, just give him a big hug. I don't just mean that he is the emotional core in that way, but he's really the key to the thematic core of this game. His story, his personal story, informs the narrative better than most characters. But everyone has some part to play in that theme of mortality and dealing with it and recognizing it. Mortality and purpose in life. So I guess to that end, maybe you would say the theme is existence. Vivi, one of the main villains of this, and Zidane, I would say, are probably the three biggest characters, just for reinforcing that theme, though. And here, Vivi is finally starting to really question it. Whether or not he is like those black mage dolls. Whether or not he's just some mindless, mass-produced thing designed to serve a kingdom. Oh, the Kingdom of Lindblom. All of its grandeur, starting out in the Grand Castle. God, it's gorgeous. Holy shit, I missed all of the art and the backgrounds and everything about this game. It's so majestic and wonderful and whimsical and beautiful. I missed FF9 so much. Oh man, it just hits me in all the right places, you know? Yeah, Regent Cid. There we go, Cid being the recurring character in FF, serving all sorts of roles. In this case, the leader of the Kingdom of Lindblom. Lindblom being this nation bordering on Alexandria, and also another kingdom that we'll learn more about later called Burmecia. Oh, also, somewhere out there, a sculpture exists of Lindblom, and I want it more than anything you could know. It was created to use as a reference point for the FMVs centering around Lindblom. They sculpted out the entire city. So the guards may not believe that this is the actual princess of Alexandria, but she seems to have some kind of relationship with Cid, and she's been here before. and she has a pendant which lends some legitimacy to her claim about being Princess Garnet. Base level, which lies below the mist. You can take a trolley to the harbor in the back gate. Ships hardly arrive at the harbor anymore. Air travel has become really popular, plus the mist is really dangerous. That is such a common theme in this game, how dangerous the mist is. How ever encroaching it is. And what a mystery it rolling out is. This continent that we're on is called the Mist Continent. I don't know if you missed that before. Oh no, that was not an intended pun. You know what? No. I'm gonna own that. It was fucking good. I'm Mr. When I get pissed, you get missed. Alrighty, let's go meet Cid. But something's amiss. That would be an Oglop. That would be a giant Oglop. No worries, Steiner. Protected Garnet from it. But that Oglop is actually Regent Cid. Garnet recognizes the gigantic mustache. Cid Fabul. Also, anytime they highlight something in yellow, a proper noun in yellow, it tends to be important. So the Regent was attacked in his sleep one night and transformed into an Oglop. But he still has his faculties about him, so he can still rule. And that, in and of itself, rules. The Regent of this kingdom is a bug. Love you, FF9. You're so good. So we're going to go get lunch and learn a bit more about Lindblom. That's going to do it for now. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy. Have a good one.